So, as you all know, because you signed up, today we will be talking about how to juggle multiple platforms successfully. With me, of course. A little bit of background about me if it's your first time seeing me. I'm on a lot of Plann'rs social media, and I teach these webinars every month. So I actually have a kind of unique background. I started as an influencer and as a content creator, working with big brands such as Billabong, Shangri-La Resorts, Focus Feature Films, just to name a few. I then went on to start working in tech and being more behind the scenes, understanding more of the other side of marketing, which is like paid ads and hiring influencers and, growing on social media on all different platforms, not just on the ones that I had built my own following on. And I have almost 10 years of experience doing that, which seems crazy to say. I feel like I'm getting old. But I have really developed a passion for teaching people about social media. It's something that I never thought I would be doing and never thought I really had the personality for. But it just kind of naturally fell into my lap. And I think I've really understood from a young age at how powerful social media can be and how it can really transform your life and your small business. And so being able to educate other people, especially small business owners, on how it works and helping you build your confidence is something I'm really passionate about. So I'm very lucky that here at Plan, I head up user education and marketing, and this is a part of my job, which I would be doing it for free because maybe I shouldn't say that with my boss on here, but I just love it so much. Being able to connect with you each month has just been such a joy. And so that's a little bit about me and my background. So today we'll be learning a few different things. So how to choose which platforms are right for you and your brand, and to kind of dive into the age-old myth that you need to be everywhere. How to extend the lifespan of your content. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry, we're going to dive into it. Every piece of content has a lifespan, and something we want to do to help ease the process of being on multiple platforms is extending that lifespan. Creating content that fits multiple platforms so we can work smarter, not harder. And then how to repurpose plus cross-post content. These are two different things, both very beneficial in two different ways. So we'll break it down what exactly that means, how they are different from each other. And then we're going to wrap it up with me just showing you how to use one of our new tools inside Plan, one of our most exciting features, I believe, so that you really walk away from the webinar knowing exactly what to do next. You can follow along with me just by having your Plan account. If you are completely new to the Plan world, don't worry. You can sign up. It's completely free. You can play around with your free account and follow along with me. You can go ahead and sign up at planthat.com/register, or our team, that was difficult, we'll pop the link in the chat for you. So first things first, choosing the right platforms. Seems very daunting. So you might be asking yourself, shouldn't my brand be on every single platform imaginable? It's nice in theory. And it might sound counterintuitive to say no, but trying to be present on every platform actually could hurt your brand. And there's a few reasons why. Your audience might not even be on a specific platform. And so you can do so much of the work to be present and try and engage with an audience on a platform that's not even there. And so you're really speaking into a void. You would also be choosing quantity over quality. And so with audiences, especially as a small business, it's not just about the quantity, it's really about the quality of the followings that we build. Are our followers, going to actually turn into customers? Will they support our small brands? It's actually worse to have a ton of followers that are just kind of empty followers, as we say, that never end up, purchasing or supporting the brand. and someone might go to your account and see numbers, but for you, it's actually not converting into anything that's beneficial. And so juggling multiple platforms doesn't mean juggling all platforms. And the name of this webinar is juggling multiple platforms, which obviously we want to be on a couple different ones. So how do you pick which ones you're going to prioritize and actually be present on? We're going to talk about that. So the first thing is to go where your audience is. The most important platforms for you and to be on as a brand are those where your audience is most active. It's super easy to be influenced by all the upcoming new platforms. For example, we have Lemonade that just popped up out of seemingly nowhere. Of course, there's always that feeling that you need to be on the next big platform, but it's not necessarily true. It's really important that we take a step back and think to ourselves, where is my audience? Who am I really marketing to? Is this a platform that they would even think twice about? If you're an e-commerce brand targeted towards, middle-aged women, for example, or even a little bit older of a demographic, Facebook is going to be your platform. It's not going to be TikTok with all the Gen Zers, even though on the outside it sounds super appealing to be on TikTok and the next, now it's the biggest thing. That's not necessarily, it doesn't mean it's right for you and your brand. So I'd say first, just make sure you're not being influenced by all the noise. You really take a step back and get to know your audience and what platforms they prefer. Now, you might be wondering, okay, Greta, that sounds great, but I don't know where my audience actually is. And how do I figure that out? So there are a handful of ways you can actually gather this type of information about your audience's social media preferences. A few ideas are an incentivized feedback survey. So you can do things like enter them into a giveaway. You can say, hey, I'm giving away, let's say you're a jewelry company. We're giving away these beautiful earrings. If you, take this survey, then it will enter you into it. You can make it something fun like that. You can add the link to your Easy Link, which is a plan feature, which, as you can see on the right, it's super easy to make it very on brand and inviting and not feel like this kind of annoying survey they have to take. So you can do something like that, and you can ask very targeted questions. And I actually just took a business class with one of the most incredible female founders besides the one who started Plan. And this is something she taught us in the class was, ask your audience, ask the questions. There's no point in guessing. Put a survey out there, offer them some kind of incentive, whether it's a coffee or to be entered into a giveaway, and just have those questions of, what is your job? Where do you like to spend your time online? Which platforms do you prefer and why? You can get really deep with your audience and really get to know them. This is a great chance to do that, not just to find out what platforms they're on. And this is going to help your business tenfold. So you can do something like a feedback survey. You could do a lead form. You can do a little pop-up on your site with a quick question. We do this sometimes within Plan products. Like if we want to know how someone's finding a certain feature or if something was helpful, we'll do a little pop-up that's just easy for them to answer. Or you can do it in like an email marketing campaign or a newsletter. And something that we're also diving into at Plan is kind of building more of these ambassador groups where we have, solid planners that we can reach out to and ask these certain questions to and really get to know them. So these are all different ways that you can kind of discover what your audience is on. There's also so much data out there as far as just searching, if you know your demographic as far as the age and the genders and all of this, just doing some Google searches as well, there's a lot of information out there. So it's definitely not impossible to find out. And if you want to give EasyLink a whirl, which is here, and maybe try putting together a survey, you can comment below. Just I don't know, you can type easy link. And some of the team members are there, so they'll go ahead and drop the link for you where you can learn more about easy link. And if you would be interested in me putting together like a sample survey of like what your survey could look like to put out to your audience, let me know. Comment survey below. After this, I'll go through and see if there's enough of you that think that would be helpful. Maybe that's something I can send out after this webinar. So go ahead and let me know if you'd like more help there. Another thing we can do, which will really help influence which platforms we'll select, is conducting research on competitors. This is a really great way to gain insight. I'm sure everyone thinks I'm a spy at this point because I talk about checking on competitors a lot. But the thing is, many of our competitors, especially maybe brands that are more established, they have teams that actually do so much of this research that their main job is to figure out, the demographic and their audience and what platforms they're on. And so instead of, doing all the hard work ourselves, it really helps look at competitors and dive into where they're active, compare their followings between their platforms, which platforms are actually working for them, and to really observe what is and isn't working. We can learn so much and save ourselves so much time here by just looking at what other people are doing. You may find things like their audience is lacking engagement on one channel, but they're really tuned in on another channel. This is a strategic approach to really understanding where your brand should be. And like I said, it's just something I truly believe in. We have to look at what brands around us are doing, especially ones that are successful, ones that we admire. This is going to really help us. Next, we're going to get into extending the lifespan of your content. So you might be wondering, what the heck is a content lifespan? So, little fun fact. Did you know that the average longevity of an Instagram post in the general feed is only 48 hours? Now, some of you might be screaming inside because you might be thinking of all those posts that you worked maybe for days on, and then to think that only lives for 48 hours, it's a tough one. That's why, like, when you're putting so much time and effort into juggling multiple platforms, you really need your content to step it up and work harder for you. The goal here is to really extend the lifespan of our content to be able to get as much as we possibly can out of the content we're creating. And there's a few different ways we can do this. So let's go. The first one is to increase shareability. We can look at every share as added time for your content's life cycle. Every share, your content's getting more minutes of being live. Remember, people share with themselves in mind. This is really important. When we think about creating content that's shareable, we have to get into the mind of the people who will share. Sharing is really a way for viewers to connect with others. So you don't want to just create content with your audience in mind, but also the people that they're going to connect with. For example, there's a few different ways we can do this, but focusing on building trust is really important because your audience is only going to share content if you're credible. You want to keep your profile polished and professional. If you're, let's say, a jewelry brand, again, I forgot your name, but you come from New York and you have a jewelry brand and you commented when I first came on into the webinar, and now I have this jewelry brand stuck in my head. But let's say you're a jewelry brand and, you have a customer looking at some earrings, on your page, but maybe your Instagram isn't set up very professional, and maybe the customer's like, is this a real page? Is it not? Because maybe you're building your following, you're still building that credibility. They're not going to be as apt to then go share it with a friend. So just keeping that in mind. And our last webinar was about that. was all about, how you kind of establish dominance and build credibility and all these things. I believe it's on YouTube if you want to go check it out. Another thing is to add in emotion. So you see this a lot on Instagram, especially, where you have a lot of reels that are more emotional, whether they're funny or sad or whatever it is. Content that evokes a strong emotional response is twice as likely to be shared. So whether it's joy, excitement, nostalgia, or hope, emotion is key in contributing to shareability. For example, Julie Brand on my mind. You could, let's say you have like a bride who purchases an earrings from your brand, and you can do a reel about, how this bride will one day pass on the earrings to her daughter, or a grandmother sharing a pair of your brand's earrings with her granddaughter, or whatever that looks like. The idea is just to go that extra mile with your content and think, how can I make this have an emotional response with the viewers who are watching it and make them want to share it with people. So just keep that in mind. And there's a lot of ways to get creative here. You may think, in my brand, I can't evoke emotion. I'm sure you can. I'm thinking of so many industries that you can do it. You just have to get a little bit creative. Next is to encourage engagement. So by 2025, Instagram is actually expected to have 1.44 billion active users. This is crazy. That's a ton of people to view and engage with your content. The more comments and engagement you have, the longer your content survives. So again, just like shares, the more you get comments, the more you have that engagement, the lifespan of your content increases. A few ideas to increase engagement are things like asking questions. So always looking at captions as a starting point for conversation. Always look at captions as a way to really engage with your audience, and it should always feel like you're starting off a conversation. You can then also create controversy, which, don't worry, we're not talking like hardcore disputes here. We don't want that. That is the opposite of what we want. But for example, if you create a meme, and we did this recently, and add in a few more on a carousel and ask your audience to vote for which one they are, or vote their favorite product, or do like a this or that, like just create a little bit of, controversy, but very lighthearted. This also is really going to help increase engagement. I also want to throw in an extra tip here. Something that helps too is being very up to date with pop culture and just what's going on in the world. For example, here, like with the Met Gala, we saw a lot of different companies posting about the Met Gala, different memes, but then kind of tweaking it so it really fit their industry and was very relative. But it's something that I think people get really excited to engage in, because it's something that a lot of people are experiencing, watching the Met Gala, laughing at the different memes coming up. And so just being involved with pop culture and being able to kind of use it to your advantage and what's popular is also going to really help you increase engagement. We also have an engagement video. It's a YouTube video I created recently, and I list out a ton of different ways about how you can increase engagement. If you want to see that, go ahead and comment below. Maybe just comment engagement. Or you can comment a little Easter egg emoji, and then the team will send it your way. Next is understanding the lifespan on each platform. So every single platform is different. Content lives differently on each of them. So while Instagram content normally lives anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, this isn't the case for all the platforms. We have Facebook, which is around 5 hours. And this is based on a ton of studies that have been done. These are, general times. Pinterest, around 4 months. We have LinkedIn at 20 minutes, TikTok, which is minutes. So TikTok is a tricky one. YouTube, which is 30 days, and then blogs, which is 2+ years. So from this, we can easily see why posting to different platforms is a great way to instantly extend the lifespan of our content. For example, we take a Facebook post or an Instagram post, we convert that into a blog post. We now have that somewhere else where it has a much longer, span of getting noticed and getting engagement. And we've even seen this with Plann'rs' own content, I just want to say, where we put out a blog post and maybe at first doesn't pick up, but then 6 months later or a year later, we have a ton of people reading it. You see this a lot with people on YouTube where they create a video, sometimes a year or two before, and then it randomly gets picked up. So this can definitely happen. And that's why it's really important to diversify where our content is living on. Let me just take a sip of water. I hope you all are doing well. If you have questions, please leave them, but I will be getting to them at the end. So you can also save them to make sure I don't miss any of your questions. But if you want to pop in questions so you don't forget certain ones, go ahead and enter into the chat, but I will be answering them at the end. So creating content for multiple platforms. First, we have to know not all platforms are equal. Now that we know posting on multiple platforms increases our content's lifespan, how do we make sure the content we're creating will really work on the different platforms? The truth is, not all platforms are created equally. I could tell you that one piece of content will work across every single platform. It's just not the case, unfortunately. There are just some pieces of content that just don't make sense on certain platforms. For example, a short form video on LinkedIn can be done, but it isn't the kind of content that truly works on that platform. And because here we're talking about quality over quantity, it's really important that you're not creating mindlessly, especially as a small business. You only have so much time each week, right, to create content. And so we really want to put a lot of thoughtfulness in the content we're creating and for what platform. This kind of video would work amazing on TikTok and Shorts and Reels. So we can still post it across different platforms. It's just knowing which platforms we can actually group together that have similar taste in the content that their audience engages in. So what we want to do is group platforms together. In order to create content for multiple platforms, we really need to see which platforms have those similarities. From data, we know that viewers who watch Reels on Instagram are also watching YouTube Shorts and TikTok videos. Just so you know, I'm not making this up. I do a ton of research before our webinars to make sure everything's, updated research, and this is actually shown. It's the same kind of audiences, and that's why we can see that this type of content will thrive on these 3 platforms. So we don't need to create different videos for Reels and TikToks and Shorts, not at all. We can post that same content across those platforms. And another kind of group I would make is like Facebook and LinkedIn. We find at Plan the type of content we post on Facebook generally does well on LinkedIn. And so as we can see here, it's not like we're creating content for each platform. We're just creating maybe 2 different types of content. One for the, TikTok, Instagram, Shorts group, one for LinkedIn, Facebook group. I didn't mention it here, but I also believe, you could add in like a blog here into this group. So that same kind of similar content, which is maybe a little bit more wordy. You're going to opt for like, maybe photos here versus video, and then you're going to want to stick to video here. Now, while we have these two groups and we're going to have the same type of content, the thing that we want to do, which is really going to amplify managing different platforms and being successful on them, is making minor tweaks. So let's take TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels, for example. While we can cross-post the same content across these three platforms, we still may need to make minor tweaks to tailor each post for that platform. For example, when uploading YouTube Short, you have to put hashtag shorts in the title so YouTube can then recognize it and promote it as a short. A lot of people don't know this. Something I looked into recently, and we preach a lot that hashtags are very important. This is one example. And so you don't want to just immediately put that video over on shorts from Reels and not do that extra little step it takes to really make sure it thrives. Things like changing up hashtags, captions, resizing, etc., are great ways to still perfect your content on each platform and give it the best chance of success while still taking out the work of creating individual content for each. So, we don't want to sell this unrealistic idea that you just take one piece of content, one caption, one set of hashtags, put it on all platforms. We're not just talking about juggling multiple platforms, we're talking about doing it successfully. And so that's why taking these extra little steps, making these little tweaks is going to be important for you. Now, let's go ahead and get into repurposing and cross-posting content. So you might be wondering, what is cross-post? What is repurposing? So cross-posting is when you take a piece of content that you've created to share across multiple platforms instead of just one. Above, we spoke about making minor tweaks to your content so it's relevant to each platform, and this goes hand in hand with cross-posting. Repurposing content, also known as content recycling, simply means taking existing content and reusing it somewhere else in a different context. So in this content, you've already created it and you're basically giving it a whole new life. Maybe you're doing a little twist on it. You're editing it a little bit to be something else on a different platform. It sounds simple, but it can be a little bit tricky. Let me give you another clear example so you can really understand repurposing content, because I don't think I explained that well enough. So let's say you have a blog post. You take the words from that blog post, you turn it into a script, you create a YouTube video, or you create a podcast. You're taking the meat of that content, but you're really giving it a new life. Versus cross-posting is what we talked about earlier. Taking one piece of content, you're making minor tweaks here and there, but generally it's the same content across different platforms. And we might be wondering, why would we cross-post and repurpose if it's not obvious? Everything we've spoken about, the key to juggling multiple platforms successfully is to extend the lifespan of the content you've worked hard on and make minor tweaks so that content performs on each platform. If you're a small business, the truth is you just don't have endless time to create personalized content for each and every platform. And I see a lot of small businesses that come to Plan and ask a lot of questions and feel very discouraged because they feel like they have to put so much work in each platform and it's just not possible. And so cross-posting and repurposing really helps you save time and work smarter, not harder, and helps you really get ahead and feel like you have control over managing these different platforms. But instead of just talking about it, I'm going to show you how to actually do it. So let's go ahead and jump on over into Plan. And I'm going to basically walk you through one of our new features, which helps you do exactly what we just spoke about. If you have a little extra time, I'd love to know in the chat if there's something you specifically want to see inside Plan. We recently had someone ask about hashtags, and why should I use hashtags? How do they help me? How can I use them within Plan? If you have something you really specifically want to see now after I show you cross post, go ahead and comment below and I'll pick one and I'll dive into that because we'll have a little bit of extra time. Let me go ahead and switch my screens. There's never a graceful way to do this. Okay, you should be able to see Plan. Just give me one moment. All right, so let me introduce you to Crosspost. Let's start from Plan's home workspace. If you don't know what this is, it's basically where you'll see all your upcoming content that's planned for your different social channels. For example, I have some scheduled posts for Facebook and Instagram, so I see them here right when I log in. Now from here, you can go to create posts, and your cross-post journey can actually start here. So you can, let's say you're a small business, you need to post, maybe you have an upcoming sale or something like that. You want that content to go on Instagram and Facebook. So you're going to select Instagram. It will have this little check mark, and then you'll select Facebook as well. And then you'll select Start Cross-Post. From here, we have the other platforms added as well. So if last minute you're like, oh, I actually want to put that on LinkedIn, you can go ahead and just tick like this, and then untick if you don't want it anymore. Make sure you are selecting and ticking off inside the little circle. If you select the platform logo, it will then take you into that individual post for that platform. So when you're first just selecting and creating your content for your main platform, which is the one that's highlighted. So my main platform that I'm creating for right now is Instagram. You'll click and select that. So just something to be aware of. From here, I can go ahead and add some media. I'm always going to collections because I have mine organized all simple and clean. But just a quick call out here, we have a ton of free content. A lot of people still don't know that there's so much cool free content inside of Plan. And these are from real photographers, and the content is so authentic and beautiful. Let's just say like surfing, just to show you a little example. And it's just really beautiful content that you can use. It's completely free to use. And especially as a small business, you might think like last minute, like, oh, I have nothing to post. I really need to make like a Mother's Day post, or, something important is coming up and you just, maybe it slipped your mind and you don't have content. This is a great place to go to. So just wanted to call that out because it's really a lifesaver. I'll go to collections. I'll go ahead and select my media. And then from here, I will give it a caption. If you are completely lost and have no idea what caption to write, which just happens to me all the time, you can go to this little light bulb icon. It's called Social Starters. You can then select a purpose. So what purpose is this caption serving? I want to do something inspiring. But to just quickly browse through the options, you have things like run a sale, product-inspired captions, captions that make your audience take action, social proof, community, engagement, which would be great to use. If you have any like takeaway homework from this, maybe go in and try out some captions with the engage, caption idea. And I'm sure a lot of them include, questions. What's your favorite product? There's ones for giveaways. This will really help get you inspired. But for now, let's go to inspire. This one is speaking about the weekends, which is perfect. And then let's just say I want to add my first comment. If you don't know what first comment is, it's where we usually like to hide hashtags. So a common complaint from people was that they don't want to use hashtags because it takes away from their caption and it's distracting, and aesthetically it's not pleasing, to see a caption and then see all these hashtags. And so our solution for that is first comment. So it's this little icon here. And what you can do is hide hashtags within this first comment. When you auto post your post, your first comment will auto post right after that. So it will go alongside your post. I have my captions here. I'll hit save. There's a couple duplicates I'll have to go in and delete. Just to quickly walk you through, getting a post already, you can do things like tag accounts. We don't really need that here. We can search and tag a location. You have to rep Hawaii here for sure. We can add an emoji. This is a good example of like tweaking post. So let's say you have a post and it's going on Instagram. You can be a little bit more fun on Instagram. You can add emojis. You can maybe be a little bit more playful with the caption and all those sorts of things. But let's say you're also cross-posting it to like LinkedIn. This is a case where you might want to go in and like clean up the caption and maybe take away some of the emojis, maybe switch it up completely and make it more about, maybe we want to make it about how this bikini was designed, because LinkedIn is really more of like an insider platform. So actually speaking about building the product or about the designer who made the product or something like that, we might want to do something completely different. We can do that with the same content. We just have to go in and change this, and you have a new post in its own way that's really going to perform well there. So that's actually a good example of how we might use cross post in a way where we, tweak certain things and make sure it still works. You can also do things like tag products, and this won't go to your EasyLink. Your schedule links to your EasyLink will go to your EasyLink. So let me just show you. If you tag a product here, enter the link and the name. Once you schedule your post, it will then go live on your EasyLink so people can easily shop it. So like for this, it would show the post and then people could go and shop the bikini. So that's another cool little feature that's actually very recent as well. So yeah, we can tag products, we can schedule easy links, we can add hashtags, although we've already done that in the first comment. And then you're set. So we're set for Instagram. Let's go ahead and do a custom time to auto post. Another thing I love to talk about here is that different times work better on different platforms. Instagram, you may have a lot more people online in the evening after they get home from work. And they're just browsing before bed. LinkedIn, you actually might have a lot more people in the mornings when people are actually at work and on LinkedIn, using it for networking and things like that. And it's part of their kind of work hours. So another thing that I really love about cross post is the fact that you can personalize that. You can select different times for those posts. So I'll do a custom time for Instagram and I'll leave it in the evening, but then let's go ahead and hit LinkedIn. If I go over to LinkedIn, I can then select for a time in the morning. Well, only today because it's already passed, but let's say tomorrow morning at 10. And then maybe we'll delete this caption, go in and like we spoke about, do something more product related. we've taken away the emojis. We don't really use hashtags on LinkedIn very much. And that's it. Besides these little minor tweaks that you can make, there are bigger ones you can make, like, if you click this editing tool, you can resize, you can adjust, the colors or the brightness or whatever, really customize it that way. But now we have these. Let's go ahead and take Facebook off because I think we have a good thing going between Instagram and LinkedIn. And then go ahead and hit schedule. And that's cross post. So super easy. We also have a complete tutorial on it. So if you feel like you still don't really understand how it works, let us know below. We will send you that tutorial as well. So you can watch it as many times as you want and get really comfortable. Quickly, because I want to have time to answer some questions, let's go over repurposing. So let's go to a post that we've posted before, like this one. You'll just hit the 3 dots, and then you can easily go to recreate. So this is how you can repurpose with Plan. You can hit recreate for LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, etc. And go ahead, and if you have old content further back that you think, okay, this might actually work for Facebook or something, you can easily repost that and repurpose it. So that is cross post. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Super happy to help you in any way that we can. And like I said, we have those tutorials ready to go for cross post. We also have one for repurposing content if you need that as well. I don't think we got any specific platform related questions or anything you want to see. So I'll go ahead and go through any of the questions that I got during the webinar. And then of course, if you have any that you just want to start popping in now, please go ahead. Okay, we got a couple comments for the survey. So that's definitely something I can put together and aim to have sent out. Just to give you guys an idea of what kind of survey you can put together. You can use it as a template and kind of personalize it. Danny asked, is it worth using Insta Stories for this type of survey? Yeah, you could definitely use stories. The thing is with stories, again, when we talk about that kind of lifespan of content, it's only up for 24 hours. So it may not give your audience enough time to actually go in and answer those questions, but it's definitely worth a try. I do think something like, posting a grid post or somewhere where you can then post it to your stories and kind of do it continuously, because it may take a few tries to get, a good amount of responses, is better just because it lives longer on the grid. Greer asked, when it posts to Pinterest, how does it display? So it displays as a normal pin. The way it works with Pinterest is that when you cross post, you add it to a board, you add any link that you want to go through. It's very personalized to Pinterest. And within Plan, within the editor, you'll see the different sizing for the different platforms. So it's not something you have to think of off the top of your head. You can just go in and resize it based on those templates that we have. Abigail asked, how many YouTube shorts should we post a day? I know TikTok is 3 a day and Reels is 3 a week. I haven't heard much about shorts. Shorts is one of those platforms where it's just so new. The more you can post, the better. It's the biggest thing with any new upcoming, feature that any of the platforms push out, the more that you post, the better it's going to be. I would say just do some tests. So take, that content that's going out on TikTok, and if you're already doing 3 times a day on TikTok, go ahead and take that and post that onto Shorts. I will say I've noticed a lot of people speaking about having really good growth on Shorts just because it is so new. And the more you post, the better. So again, it's so new. There's not a ton of feedback on, post this many times a day. But with any of the platforms, the more you post, the better it's going to be. Greer said, what are Shorts? Sorry, no worries. Shorts are, Lorraine answered. Shorts are on YouTube. It's kind of YouTube's competitive side to TikTok. So they want to get people on there watching more short form content, not just the long form videos. So they created Shorts, which is a feature where you can upload, it's like 30 to 60 second videos. And a lot of people are getting, again, really good engagement because it is so new and they are pushing it out. Just reading through some of the questions. Marie asked, do you plan on bringing AI and Twitter to Plan anytime soon? We have something very exciting coming. If you go to our Instagram, we just did a post. It's like what's new in May, I think, or what's new this month. In the last slide, we have a little sneak peek of something. So head there. Hasina, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. As a naturopath doctor, what platform should I use? I'm currently using IG and plan to maybe use TikTok. There's also LinkedIn and Facebook, which I hear are good options. It's so much. Yes, it is a lot. I would say first, what is your objective? Are you trying to get clients in your area that you can visit in person and help in person? Are you trying to help people, no matter the distance and offer tips or guides or, products that you're creating? Because I would say things like, Facebook groups or LinkedIn, if you're trying to really harness a community close to you and be able to have that like in-person connection, and that's what you need for your business, those are definitely good options. But I would say if you want that wider reach of speaking to more people, using platforms like IG and TikTok are good. And I've noticed videos that go viral are like just, these tips, like use this if you have a headache, or do this if you have sore muscles, and that brings a lot of value to the online space that so many people can consume and be interested in. So I'd say first narrow down who exactly you're trying to speak to. And, you're in an industry where you can, there's a lot of platforms that your content can work on. Okay, so you said primarily for education. So yeah, I would say really harness that viral video content. I think that's going to be your bread and butter, is just making those short form videos where you can educate people, because now there was a study recently done where most people are getting their information from videos. It's not from books, it's not from reading online articles. It's from watching video content. And so video content is a great way to educate people and keep them interested and do it in a really quick way. Yes, Greer, as Rowan said, who actually is in charge of creating features, so she's the perfect one to be in the chat. we do have something on the way for YouTube Shorts, so hang tight. Abigail said, how often should we do social media surveys to get updates from followers? Annually or 2 times a year? I'd say annually is a great place to start. Just from my experience of working with different companies and kind of how they're doing it, revisiting it once a year, definitely, because new platforms, come up. Different platforms change, their demographics can sometimes change. For example, when TikTok first came up, we only saw, Gen Z. Now my dad sometimes is on TikTok, which is surprising, but those audiences kind of start to change and they may adapt to different platforms. And even things like economy and just, social changes can happen where your audience will kind of transition. And so keeping updated with that is really important. Cheryl said, are there videos on the free content section in Plan? Yes, there is a video all about media collections. If one of the team members can grab that and put it in the chat, or again, Cheryl, if you just go to our YouTube channel, we have it there. Just look for media collections. That's where you can grab free content, and I really dive into using free content. And Rowan has a great response too. Maggie asked, we're a boat rental center, nonprofit, with a ton of different kinds of boats. A lot of people are afraid to try the different boats. Is it okay to do amateur? I'm trying the orb boat, I think, today. Kind of short videos on YouTube. Yeah, definitely. I think too, a good thing, if you have fear, is to bring in education. So doing little videos about the different types of boats and why this one is, fun or what's unique about it. Short form videos is really a great way to bring in education and build confidence. And, there's a lot of ways to kind of, I guess, create content that makes people feel not so, I guess, nervous or just scared of maybe the certain things you're offering. And so definitely a really good example of this, and it's in a totally different industry, but you have a lot of, doctors and things now on social media who take different topics and really break it down and normalize things. And there's just so many ways that you can really help build people's, comfort around certain things. Okay, let's see, a couple more minutes. So if you have any last minute questions, I love the more personalized questions too. Of course, feel free to tell me about your industry, your personal problem. I really love brainstorming those particular things. So don't be afraid to get personal and tell me a little bit about your industry and the problem you're facing. Maggie asked, how do you feel about introducing staff on social media? Absolutely love it. I think the more you can add, character to your brand and show the behind the scenes of who's there. Something we're really trying to do even on Plann'rs side is bring our team forward and really showcase them, because Plann'rs would just really fall in love with everyone on our team. They're funny, they're smart, they love our users. And so bringing them forward and And it's a great way to really utilize social media. And you actually see this so much where like posts about staff members will go viral, like people working at Target or, sometimes for weird reasons because people find them attractive or something. But I think it's just always wonderful to like give that behind the scenes look at your business. We actually have that in the strategy within Plan as well. It's a little strategy tile where you can drop it into your grid. So it will remind you, okay, this week I'm going to post a like behind the scenes of our company, and it can be you, showcasing one of your staff members. Oh, that's wonderful, Maggie. I love black and white photos. They have a lot of soul. Well, it is time. Thank you all so much for joining. Again, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to the team. A lot of the team that you see in the chat now will be there to help you moving forward. I do a webinar every single month, so check on your emails because we'll let you know when the next one is coming up. Feel free always to bring forward more of your personal questions about your brands and your companies. I love hearing what you guys are doing and helping you in any way that I can. So thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Greer. Thanks so much, Shina, Lorraine, Maja. Shalia? Yes, there will be a replay. Don't worry. You'll get it within like 24 to 48 hours. Maybe a little bit longer. I'll try to put together a survey for you guys. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Maggie. Okay, everyone. Well, have a wonderful rest of your week. And until I see you next time, happy planning. Bye, guys.